But by the way, um, I put up a video, a short video. It's like a minute and a half of a rap song that I made. How long ago was it? 6, 7 years ago. And I put it up. The only thing is, I don't know exactly how you access it, but I see that people did access it. They did access it, maybe on Facebook, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I can put it up here in this class. Could be. How could I do it here in this class? Maybe I'll try to put it up afterwards. I'll see if I can put it up on Zoom. We'll see. It's a Purim rap song. It's good. You can listen to it. I see that already. I put it up last night. The 30 people already watched it, but it's not on the regular YouTube list. Okay, anyway, let's go. This week's Torah is Parshat Tetzaveh. Parshat Tetzaveh it's talking about the garments of the high priest. It starts off, though, talking about the oil, that there's a commandment of the Jewish people to bring oil to Moses. And that Moses gives the oil, this pure olive oil, to Aaron to light the lamps. It's the only portion in the Torah that does not mention after Moses was born. Moses was born in the beginning of the book of Exodus, right? Moses gets born. After that, every single chapter in the Torah mentions Moses' name. Every single chapter after that. Every chapter in the book of Exodus, Leviticus, the Numbers, and Deuteronomy, every single chapter mentions Moses' name, except for one. Except for one. There's only one chapter in the Torah after Moses was born that does not mention Moses' name, and that's this one, in this week's. It doesn't mention his name. Parshat Tetzaveh, this is the only Torah portion in which after Moses was born, and he was born. When was he born, by the way? When was Moses born? Moses was born on the 7th day of Adar. Adar. When the Rebbe was speaking, there were two Adars. He was born on the 7th day of Adar. Was the 7th day of Adar is going to be the day after tomorrow, 7th day of Adar. Tomorrow night. Huh? Is that right? Yeah, tomorrow night. We find two reasons. So this is the only Torah portion when Moses is not, his name is not mentioned. We find two reasons. The Rebbe is going to give us a third reason. We find two reasons. Number one, Kivin, since that on the 7th day of Adar, Moses died, and this week's Torah portion always occurs on the date of Moses' death. Is therefore Nirma Zman Istalkuto, Bakach, it is hinted that it's not mentioned his name in the Torah on this Torah portion, which is near the day of his passing away. He died on the 7th day of Adar. Moses was very central to Judaism, right? The whole Torah comes from Moses. Torah Tzivah Malana Moshe. It's called the 5 books of Moses. So when Moses died, that's a big tragedy to the Jewish people, and therefore this book of the Torah, which the whole Torah is here, so his name is not mentioned, so that we'll remember the tremendous tragedy that Moses died. Number one. Number two, why is Moses' name not mentioned here? Because Moses said, this is actually going to be next week's Torah portion, but God says to Moses, the Jewish people worship the golden calf. That's next week. We'll see next week's Torah portion. The Jewish people worship the golden calf. This is like 40 days after they received the Torah. They all heard God say, don't worship idols, and they all did it. They did it passively. They did it actively. And so God said, I'm going to wipe out all the Jewish people, and I'll make you'll be the only one that's left, and I'll make the new Jewish nation from you. And Moses said, don't wipe them out. Listen to what I say. And if you don't listen to what I say, God, if you don't spare the Jewish people, wipe me out of your book. Don't mention me in the Torah. So God said to Moses, okay, I'll let the Jewish people live. But because Moses even mentioned the idea of wiping him, being wiped out of the Torah, it says the curse of a wise man, of a holy Jew, even if it's on condition, and the condition was not done. In Moses' case, Moses said, if you wipe out the Jewish people, then wipe me out also. And in fact, God did not wipe out the Jewish people. So, he doesn't have to wipe out Moses. But it says that if a tzaddik makes a curse, even if it's on condition, then it comes into being. Moses said, wipe me out if, and that if didn't happen. So, but nevertheless, because Moses said, wipe me out, it gets wiped out. Therefore, even though that God answered Moses' request, and therefore he didn't wipe out the Jewish people, and therefore the condition is gone. What did Moses say? If you wipe them out, then wipe me out. So God said, okay, I didn't wipe them out. Nevertheless, because Moses even mentioned it, therefore his name was wiped out from the Torah. Those are the two reasons which are given why Moses' name is not mentioned in this Torah portion. Because this Torah portion occurs when Moses died, and that's giving us a remembrance that Moses' name is not mentioned here. So we'll say, hey, where's Moses? We'll say, because this is the time when Moses passed away. Number one reason. Number two reason, because those words came out of Moses' mouth. Wipe me out of your book. And therefore, God did it in this week's Torah portion. Says the Rebbe, both of these reasons are not so clear. Benogeya, the Rebbe is going to give us a third reason, which is very positive. Benogeya, Latam, first of all, the reason that Moses died on the seventh day of Adar, but it says that Moses died on the seventh day of Adar, but he also was born on the seventh day of Adar. Moses lived exactly under 20 years old. He died on the same date that he was born. When was he born? The same date that he died. He died on the seventh day of Adar. 120 years earlier, he was born. Therefore, it says, Kada Yom Aleda, that is the day of birth, is more valuable and it is more powerful that it can wipe out the bad effects of the day of death. Kamudgash, which is stressed by the bittul simchas Haman, and that it says that Haman was happy. You know the story of Haman. Haman was an evil Jew, in a way much more evil than Hitler was, in a way, because he made a decree to kill all the Jews in the world, and he had the power to do it. Achashverosh ruled over the whole world, and Haman became his best friend and as advisor, and he said, I want to wipe out the Jews. And Achashverosh said, yeah, okay, all right, no problem. So Haman said, well, now I got to figure out when to kill them, because the Jews are very, tricky people. The God always saves them. How do they even exist up to now, right? The Jews, God destroyed the first temple, and it didn't destroy the Jews. So what? The Jews, they destroyed the first temple because the Jews were sinning. So why destroy the temple? Leave the temple there. It'll be an artifact or something like that, like the Colosseums or something. It'll be a tourist attraction. And instead of the temple, the Jews, they sinned. The temple didn't do anything. It says, no, God wiped out the temple and he let the Jews go. So Haman said, the Jews are tricky people. They seem to survive all of these difficult things. I'm going to try to find a date when I can get them. I'll get the Jewish people, an unlucky date. So it says that he threw lots, and that's why the holiday is called Purim, because Pur is a lot. He threw these lots or dice, whatever they are, and he threw these lots, and the lots came out of the month of Adar. Oh, so he was happy. Why? He's happy because he said Adar. He happened to know. He learned a little bit of Jewish history. If he only didn't learn enough, he learned the Jewish history, and because he only learned a little bit, so we got the holiday of Purim. But it was a little bit shaky over there. He said the Adar, that's good, because that's the day when Moses died. Naval poor, since the lot that he threw, poor B'yarech, and the Shemet Po Moses, it was the month that Moses died, he was happy. Kivan Shalo Yada, because he didn't know that on the seventh day of Adar he died, and on the seventh day of Adar he was born. If so, Lama Nikva Korah Remez Al Zaman Mitato. If so, why is the month of this week's Torah portion missing Moses' name? Because Moses died, but he was also born. So it should be that Moses was born on this month. They should, for sure, Moses' name should be mentioned here. Huh? Very simple. A day that a person dies, true, it's a sad day. But so you can say, well, maybe it was better if he wouldn't have been born. Huh? I mean, you're going to die. What do you have to die for? Just if the person wouldn't have been born, then we wouldn't have any all this mourning and things like that. Yeah, but if a person wasn't born, he wouldn't be able to do all the good things that he did until he died. And when you do something that's good, that good deed is eternal. So true, when you die, it's very bad because you can't do any more good deeds. But the good deeds that you did do, they don't die with you. So the day that Moses died was just the end of a whole 120 years of good that he did. And that's a day of celebration. The day that Moses was born, that's a happy day. So if so, that first answer we gave that we don't, Moses' name is not mentioned in this week's Torah portion because this Torah portion comes when Moses died, but it also came when Moses was born. What about the second reason? That Moses said, wipe me out from your book. Well, Moses said, wipe me out from their book. And this was after he broke the tablets. After the seventh day of Tammuz, when Moses came down from Mount Sinai, he broke the tablets. And it says, Nichtava b'Torah, and this is written in Parshas Ki Tisa, which Parshas Tisa comes after this week's Torah portion. So when did Moses say, wipe me out from your book? After this week's Torah portion. After this. So why wipe him out on a person that earlier? If you want to wipe him out in next week's Torah portion. Why is that Moses' name was wiped out in this week's Torah portion, Parshas Tetzaveh, which happened before Moses made the statement of wipe me out? And according to there's a lot of opinion that the Torah went in an orderly fashion, that this Parshas Tetzaveh came before the sin of the Egel. How did it go in the desert? The Jewish people got out of Egypt. They received the Torah 50 days later. They sinned with the golden calf 40 days after that. And then they built the tabernacle like, 5 months after that. No, I'm sorry, 9 months after that, something like that. That they built the tabernacle 5 months after that. But there's a question, when did they get the commandment? When did they get the commandment to build the tabernacle? So there's one opinion that says that the Jewish people got out of Egypt, they received the Torah, they got the commandments for making the tabernacle. That's last week's portion and the portion before that. They got the commandments. Then after that, they worshiped the golden calf. And God wanted to wipe them out. So if so, this Torah portion was said before the Jewish people even sinned with the golden calf. And when did Moses say, wipe me out? That's when he was praying for God not to wipe them out because they worshiped the golden calf. So it ends up that this week's Torah portion was before, not only before Moses said, wipe me out, it was even before they sinned. The Jewish people even sinned. So why is Moses' name missing from this week's Torah portion? Why? Doesn't make any sense. It can't be because this is when he died, because this is when he was born, and that wipes out the bad effect of it. And it can't be because he said, God, wipe me out, because he said that after this week's Torah portion. We also have to understand, the Rebbe is going to say in the end that his name is not mentioned is a very, very high thing. It's above his name. But we'll see, we'll get to that. Also, we have to understand the connection between these two reasons, one to the other. Shaliota, because they are the reason for the same thing. First reason, why is Moses' name not mentioned here? Reason number one, because this comes in the time when Moses died. And number two, this comes because Moses said, wipe me out. So it must be that these two reasons, Moses died and saying, wipe me out, are connected to one another. There must be some connection. What's the connection? Yuvin, we can understand. What's this? 1 second. Oh, okay. This is the second paragraph. Yuvin, we can understand the hektim by understanding, first of all, what is the whole thing of the seventh day of Adar. That's the day which was made the happiness of Adar. Now it says And the Mishnah says when Adar comes in, you increase happiness. Adar comes in and happiness. Why should you increase happiness? Because Adar was the month when the whole miracle of Purim happened. But the miracle of Purim happened like in the second half of Adar. It didn't happen in the first part of Adar. It says no, the miracle of Purim happened because Haman wanted to destroy the Jews, God forbid, in the month of Adar, because he saw that Moses died, but he didn't know that Moses was born. So it ended up that because Moses was born in this month, so that transformed the whole month. Haman was sure of himself that he was going to succeed in wiping out the Jewish people because Adar was a bad month. But Adar ended up to be a good month. Why? Because of the seventh day of Adar, when Moses was born. So what's this importance that Moses was born on the seventh day of Adar that it affected the whole month? We'll see. Regarding the month of Adar, it says in the Gemara, Kivin shenafel pur b'chodesh Adar, since that Haman threw the lots, and the lot fell in the month of Adar, so he was happy. Omar said, "Nafal lipur b'yerech." The lots fell on the month that Moses died. Below Yodan, he didn't know that in the seventh day of Adar, he died. In the seventh day of Adar, he was born. That's what it says in the Talmud. Hainu shalated Moshe that the birth of Moses on the seventh day of Adar, this caused the bittul, the negation, and in fact the transformation of the decree of Haman in the month of Adar from a month of destruction of the Jewish people to a month of the joy of the Jewish people, in a way that the month was transformed to good. Therefore, when Adar comes in, we increase happiness. And Adar, therefore, is called a bari. It's a month that's healthy. It's powerful. The luck of that month is powerful. Even the zodiac, which the Jewish people are not connected to the zodiac, but here the zodiac comes to help us. Malam Yucheres, that's a special thing in the month of Adar, which is not found in any of the other months of the year. Why? Because the seventh day of Adar, when Moses was born. We have to understand, but Pashtu, simply the words of the Gemara, of the Talmud, Mochach, show, Rak, latest Moshe, the birth of Moses on the month of Adar, this negates the things which are bad. Haman was very happy. He wanted to destroy the Jews because Moses died. He didn't know that Moses was born. So at first glance, we could say, okay, so Moses was born. So Haman could have woken up one morning and said, you know what do I have to kill the Jews for? What am I draining a cup for? I'm not going to do it. Just to negate that's it. The month of Adar will just be like every other month. At first glance, there's no proof, the fact that he was born, that the month was going to be transformed to be happy. That the month of Adar is better than any of the other months. Right? Haman just thought that I'm going to be able to destroy the Jews because the month of Adar is bad. So therefore I'm going to destroy him. He was really happy. And then one of his advisors said, Haman, you know that Moses' birthday? What do I care? It was on the same day, 7th Adar. He said, well, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay, let's just kill him now. Why wait? Haman threw the lots. It was in the month of Nisan when he threw the lots. And the lots came out for 12 months afterwards. A date was 12, but he said it's worthwhile to wait for 12 months to kill the Jews. Everybody will be prepared. He told everyone, everyone in the world was there. They sent letters out on the 12th day of the 12th day of Adar. The 12th day of Adar. You're gonna in a year. I'm not sorry. In the 14th day of Adar, in 1 year, everybody get ready, arm yourselves. You're gonna kill a certain nation. Everybody get ready, except for the Jews. Which nation it's going to be, I'll tell you later on. But Jews, you don't have to kill anybody. You just take it easy, right? And eventually, I think there's another opinion that he told them immediately to kill the Jews. In any case, they found out immediately. The Jews found out immediately that they were going to get it was them that was going to get killed. They were going to get killed. This is one. Okay, so why did he decide on this month to kill them? 12 months. He pushed the thing off 12 months. Why push it out to 12? You hate the Jews. Tell them next week everybody kill the Jews. Don't give the Jews the time to arm themselves or anything like that. 12 months, because he said it's a good month. It's a lucky month. The Jews, they always get out of all these decrees, and I'm going to make it so that the Jews don't get out of it, right? He went according to the zodiac, according to the stars, according to this, and according to the lots. He threw it above understanding. I'm not going to rely on any logic. This is going to be only the powers of heaven are going to decide when to destroy the Jews. It's going to be in the month of Adar in 12 months. So someone could come and tell him and say, listen, Haman, why did you pick Adar of all the months? He said, listen, I didn't pick it. It was the lots that picked it. You don't have no idea how happy I am. That's when Moses died. He says, but that's when he was born. So he could have, Haman should have said, oh yeah, really? Are you kidding me? That was when he was born. So, let's forget the lots. Just let's kill him right now. Why do we have to wait for 12 months? But that's not what happened. What did happen? It happened that he said, we're going to do it in Adar anyway. And when it happened in the month of Adar, all of a sudden, not only did the Jews succeed in protecting themselves, they killed their enemy. And everybody got scared of the Jews. And the whole thing transformed. Haman got hung almost immediately. When Haman said, I'm in Russia to destroy all the Jews, when Haman said that he was going to kill all the Jews, Omar Hechani Sholet, how can I rule over them? So therefore he threw lots. Therefore he started in the beginning of the month of Nisan. He said maybe the month of Nisan. No, that is the month of Passover. The month of Iyar. No, that's what's called Pesach Sheni. Then he went, all of the months had something good about them, but he didn't find, but he came to the month of the year, came to Adar. In the month of Adar, it says he didn't find anything good. Then he checked all of the stars. He said, what's the month of Adar? The month of Adar is the month of Telet. It's the month of, what's it, Aries, is it? The month of the sheep. It says, no, I'm sorry. The month of Adar. What's the month of Adar? The month of Adar is fish. It says the month of Adar, Pisces. What's it called? Pisces. The month of Adar, it says there's the merit of Passover. Telet, that's the sheep. It says Shur, that's the merit of Joseph, etc. So we went, this is in the Talmud, it says. He continued. All the 11 months of the year, each one had something good in them. Bob and Mazal Dagim. Then he came to the Mazal of Pisces, that's two fish. Two fish, that's the month of Adar. He said, fish, I can't find anything good about fish. There's nothing lucky about fish. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that there's something good about fish. The Jewish people are blessed with fish, something good about fish. So he was happy. And he said, Adar, Ein Lo Zechut, the month of Adar has no merit. Moses died in that month. And also the zodiac has no merit. Fish. And not only that in the Adar, Moses died. Therefore, Lo Yada, but he didn't know that in the first day of Adar, Sheba Echad, Adar made Moshe. All right, why this is explained. Anyway, they didn't know that in the month of Adar, Moses died, and in the month of Adar, Moses was born. Omer, so he said, just like fish are swallowing one another up, also I will swallow up the Jews. The big fish swallow up the small fish. The big fish, that's all the nations of the world. We're going to swallow up the Jews. Said God, Russia, evil man. Dagim, sometimes fish get swallowed, and sometimes they swallow. And now the Jews are going to swallow you up. Where does all this appear? One second. Let me just look this up. Let me see. It's in Esther Rabbah. It's in the Midrash. It's a Midrash. It says in the Midrash. Yeah. 1 minute. Let me have a look over here. Okay, good. This is on Midrash. Okay, so what do we see? That Haman was much more clever and much more thorough than what we thought. Not only did he throw lots, and he knew that Moses died in that month, but he checked the zodiac of every single month. And every single month has the zodiac sign, and he knew the Torah. For some reason, he didn't know that Moses was born on the 7th day of Adar. But he knew the Torah, and he knew that every single month has its zodiac sign, right? An ox, an archer. Each one has its. But each one, there's something connected to something good in the Torah, except for fish. Except for fish. Says the Rebbe, we have to understand. From the fishes, that's the zodiac sign of the month of Adar. Month of Adar. For the simple meaning of the Gemara, it's Muchach has indicated that only the birth of month of Adar, the birth of Moses in the month of Adar, that is what negated and transformed Haman's plans. From the Gemara, it seems that what negated Haman's plans, he didn't know when Moses was born. It doesn't mention anything about the zodiac. Like we said before, if we go according to the zodiac, so we can see that the zodiac gives a sign that the month of Adar is better than the other months for the Jews. Why? Because like God said, sometimes fish are swallowed, sometimes fish are swallowed. The Jewish people, you want to say that they're going to get swallowed like fish, or sometimes the fish do the swallowing. Maybe the fish are going to swallow up. So there is a sign by the zodiac that the Jewish people could turn the whole thing around, right? But by the birth of Moses, it doesn't say everything is going to get turned around. It just shows that it'll negate his plans. It won't get turned around. He just won't succeed. Not that the Jewish people will succeed. So why does the Gemara only bring this thing about when Moses was born? That's what transformed everything. That's what transformed the month of Adar. Shailazu, this is also even stronger when we look at what the rabbis say about the lots of Haman. It says when Haman wanted to destroy the Jews, Laberet Yisrael, Omar, he said, Echani sholet, how can I rule over the Jews? Hareini mapil gorolot, I'm going to throw lots. Okay, now exactly how these lots worked, I can't exactly figure it out how it was, because it can't be dice, because dice you can never get number one. The lowest you can get with dice is 2, 1, 2. True, they can come out to be 12. It can be 12, like 2 6s. But it can't be one. So somehow or other, there was somehow or other lots where there could be number one, because he didn't know which month it was going to come out. So it could be 1 to 12. It could come out to any one of these 12 numbers. So how did it work? I don't know. Okay. So anyway, he started out with the month of Nisan, and that was the merit of Passover. Then he came Iyar, Pesach Katan. Every month had its own merits. And then afterward, he went through the mazals of every month, the sign of the zodiac. And each one of them had their own, also their own good thing, except for the month of Adar. This says, first of all, he went through the months, and he couldn't find any good merit. There was no holiday or anything that happened in the month of Adar. No merit. The only thing that happened in the month of Adar, according to what he knew, was that Moses died. Then afterwards, he checked all the mazalot. The what is it? The Taleh had the what is it? Aries had the merit of Passover. It said the Taurus, the Shur had the merit of Yosef. I learned astrology a long time ago. And he went and he checked all the mazalot for the 11 months of the year until finally came the month of fish, that's the month of Adar, and he couldn't find any merit. So therefore, he was very happy with two things. First of all, Adar was the month there was no merit in, and also the zodiac had no merit. Adar ein lo zechut, umazlo ein lo zechut. Not only that, Adar, and also in Adar, Moses died. He didn't know that in the first day of Adar, there's other places where it says the 7th day of Adar, but anyway, the month of Adar, the Moses was died, but he also was born. Omer, he said, Kashem Shadagim, just like fish swallow one another up, also we're going to swallow up the Jews. God said that the fish swallow one another up, and in the end, you're going to get swallowed by them. We'll see who gets swallowed who. So if so, we see that that the birth of Moses, this not only negated the bad thing that he died, the birth, but it also negated, and it also did not only negate that, and also the lots, and also negated the fact the month had no merit, and also the zodiac, that the birth of Moses negated all these things. This is like if Sharad Ani Bolei Otam, given Shapamim, because sometimes fish get swallowed and others get swallowed. Fish get swallowed and sometimes they swallow. So if so, but the month itself was in, there's no mazel and there's no merit to the month. One second. So we have three things over here. Moses died. The month is a bad month. And the zodiac is bad. So the fact that Moses was born, that negates one of those things. Moses was born, that negates the fact that he died. But the fact of the matter is the month is still a bad month and the mazel is still a bad month. Right? So how could it be just the fact that he was born, that negates the other two as well? We're going to see something very powerful about Moses here. Yeshlom, we can see the explanation is like this. It's known that the day that a person is born, there's mazel, that his luck, his lucky sign, or his fortune. Oh. Fortune shines and it helps him. I know Shamazal, that the mazal, that the fortune of that day helps a person, Shamazla shal adam gover, on the day when his zodiac is propitious. It's good. Like it says, the gover Yisrael, that the Jewish people overpowered. This is when they fought with Amalek. Yeshlom, we can say that on this day when Moses was born, and Moses is the sum total of all the Jewish people, and the Jewish people, they are Moses. Remember, God wanted to wipe out all the Jews. He wanted to wipe them all out. He said, I'll leave just you. And Moshe said, no, leave the Jews alone. Leave the Jews alone. And God said to Moses, come on, Moshe, I've got a really good reason. I'm not going to wipe them all out. I'm going to, just the Jewish people, they disappoint me over and over again. And I'm going to make you a new nation. What do you say, Moses? And Moses said, no way. No way. The Jewish people as they are, you're going to see they're all going to do tshuva. It's all going to be okay. So it ends up that the whole existence of the Jewish people comes from Moses. And not only the Torah. Like it says, the Nasi Ador Hu Kachol Ador, that the leader of every generation, he is that whole generation. Nasi will call, the leader is everything. Kavan says, the Moshe, since the Moses spreading out in every generation. This includes also the Jewish people, Moses, which is in the leader of every generation, is always here. And this also implies not only the person who is outside of us, but the Moses which is inside of us. Moshe, Kolel Moshe, Kolel Moshe, that Moses included all the Jewish people into Gover Mazlash Israel, because every single Jew also has a little point of Moshe inside of it. From this, we can understand that the mazel of the month, that the month when Moses was born, and Moses is the sum total of all the Jewish people, and is the Jewishness which is inside of every Jew. Ozer, this helps Hamazel Shalachodesh. So therefore, the fact that Moses was born, this gives a new injection of good into the month and into the zodiac. Therefore, Adar, the Bari Mazel, the talk of Mazel, therefore the month transforms, the month of Adar becomes a fortunate month for the Jews. And also the Mazel of the month of Adar becomes fortunate for the Jews. I know, namely, Shaledas Moshe, that the birth of Moses, and Moses is all of the Jewish people, on the seventh day of Adar, this affects everything, the whole entire month, that it becomes strong, and also the mazel of the Jewish people. According to this, Al Pizeh, we can say that the Siyam, at the end of the Midrash, it says that Haman didn't know that on the seventh day of Adar he was born. This is a reply also to the fact that Adar has no merit and the mazel has no merit. So Haman did three things to assure himself that Adar was the ideal month to destroy the Jews. First of all, he threw lots and he was happy that it was the month that Moses died. Second of all, he checked the months and there was no merit in the month of Adar. There were no holidays, there was no important things that happened. Exactly the opposite. It was the month that Moses died. Nothing, empty month. And then afterwards he checked the zodiac and he saw that the mazel, the constellation of Adar also has no merit. So there were three things going against the Jews. But the fact that Moses was born, and Moses is all the Jewish people, and the world depends on the Jewish people, as the birth of Moses, that negated all the bad things. The month and the zodiac, everything. Therefore, it made that Adar, not only did it negate it, it transformed them. That Adar and its mazel, and like all the other months that have a necessity of the month and the mazel, like Pesach and etc., like that, all the other months have something that gave them merit. But here we have Adar, the month of Adar, because it is such a high thing that it was Moses was born in that month. Therefore, it changed the whole merit of the month itself and the mazel. That's the mazel of the Jewish people only because of the birth of Moses. So we see how tremendously important Moshe is, not just for the Jewish people, for the whole entire world, for time itself, for the month of the Chodesh Adar. Therefore, in the month of Adar, this brings about an assistance, and a fortune of the month was changed. These Gabros Mazel Israel, because this increases the power and the success of the Jewish people to do good and to transform the world. So if you look at the world now and you see that there's all this anti-Semitism and etc., you should know, don't worry about it. It's a good thing. It's all going to be transformed. The more bad there is, the more good is going to come out of it. That's the month of Adar. That's the holiday of Purim. And why? The message is because of Moses. Every generation has a Moses. And our generation has the Rebbe. And we can see the work of the Rebbe, the effect of the Rebbe that is in the whole world. That's the idea of Moshiach, to change all of the Jewish people, and therefore to change all the world for the good, to bring blessing and happiness to the whole world. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Now let's do the Yom Yom.